Hi, my name's Dave. I'm your host. You're listening to The Last Podcast, where the first shall be last and the last shall be first. If this is your first time visiting the channel or listening to the podcast, welcome. I'm happy you found me. And if you're returning, welcome back. I really appreciate you listening, and I hope you continue to find tips, ideas, and value from listening to this podcast. I have a question today. Has anyone ever asked you, tell me a little bit about yourself? I know in business, we have an elevator pitch, right? That elevator pitch is probably about 30 seconds, right? And that's when we pretty much spout out our name, what we do, and maybe how we can actually solve a problem. But has anybody ever asked you, tell me a little bit about yourself? Do you know what to say? Is it worth listening to? For instance, if somebody was to ask me, so what do you do, or whatever the case may be, in keeping up with the elevator pitch, I would probably say, hi, my name is Dave, and I'm a benefits consultant. I assist employers with attracting newer talent and retaining quality employees by helping them structure and put in place a cost-effective benefits package at no cost to the company. Now, what's so intriguing about that? Usually I hear somebody say at no cost. Well, how does that work? That's letting me know they're interested. But the whole idea is basically not asking or telling them how it works then. The whole idea is, let me get your business card, and here's my business card. Let's sit down and let's have a conversation. That's how that's pretty much done. But when somebody wants to generally ask you, tell me a little bit about yourself, you give them an extended elevator pitch, is what I like to call it. It's an invitation to pretty much wow them, with be persuasive, inspire them, or really give them a little synopsis about yourself, what you do, how you do it, or maybe perhaps what you believe in. I think that these questions also it depends on who's asking the questions and the settings, right? I mean, for instance, tell me a little bit about yourself. Is that in an interview fashion, or is it a business setting, or are you being asked over a meal with someone new? Tell me a little bit about yourself. So I believe the context is important because it dictates what we say and how long of an answer we're going to give, so to speak, right? So what do you normally say when someone asks you that question? For an example, let's say your name was Ashley, right? Let's say, for an example, the person asks, who is Ashley? Who are you? Tell me a little bit about yourself. They want to know a little more beyond the name and what you do. They might want to know a little bit about the real you, perhaps your values, your beliefs, what you stand for, a little of your true identity. They want you to encapsulate all of that, all those ideas, and form a story. Tell me a little bit about yourself. You know something, the reason why I want to talk about this today is because I was in a conversation and I asked someone, because I didn't know them really, so I said, tell me a little bit about yourself. And they froze up. They literally couldn't answer that question. So I said, so what things do you like? What do you do for a living? I had to push them in areas where they can answer the question. And even when they was answering the question, what they do for a living, it was like, oh my goodness. So I think everybody needs to have at least an elevator pitch about, and these pitches are different. They're pretty much different because, sometimes people are asking a question just to ask a question, and they really are not interested in a long drawn out answer, right? So I believe that we all have to have an elevator pitch, but there are times that somebody is really going to be genuinely interested in who you are. You want to be able to say who you are and inspire them and, wow them. And it doesn't have to be a long out drawn story, but at least a synopsis of your life and who you represent, who you are. You should be able to say that with ease. And if I want you to look in the mirror today and ask yourself that question. Tell me a little bit about yourself, and literally answer it off the dime like that. See what you come up with, because it's powerful when you can answer that question. If you have a life story and you don't like that life story and want to rewrite your life story, this podcast is for you. If you don't have a life story and want to create a life story, this podcast is for you. So, why a life story? I think a life story is a great way to look at who you are and tell people a little bit about yourself, and do it you can have several versions. You can have that long life story version. Well, I doubt if anybody's going to really sit there and listen to it. And here's a little tip. When someone asks you, tell me a little bit about yourself. So you want to look at their body language when they're asking that question. Why? That's crucial. It's important, because if you're talking about yourself and they lean forward, generally they're interested. They want to know more. But if someone asks you that question and they're saying, okay, tell me a little bit about yourself, they're either folding their arms, leaning back, their eyes are shifting, they really are not interested. So all of that plays a part into your answer, or how you're going to answer to that person who is asking. Now, to me, I think creating a life story is more than just telling someone who you are. It can also serve as a powerful way to reshape your future and leave a legacy behind for your future family members. Because telling a little bit about your life story represents you, the trials, the tribulations, and the triumphs in your life. You have an opportunity to give a person a part of you that's extraordinary. Don't cheat yourself when creating your life story. If you take it to heart, you be serious, your life story, it will be like going on a journey to knowing yourself in such a level you cannot even imagine. Don't cheat yourself. It's so critical that you do this and you be serious about creating your life story. And it takes time. Some people, when they create a life story, they just figure they could sit down, or they can type, or they could write, within an hour or 2 hours, and they be done. No, I think it takes a little while. I think it takes time to craft a true life story. Because here's the thing. In creating your life story, you want to look at from this point all the way back, as far back as you can remember. And you want to grab all that information and make sense of it. And then you want to polish that information. You have your drafts, your rough drafts, and then you have your final draft. But then you have the polishing to make it nice, shiny, precise, concise, and make sure it sounds good and represents you and your true value. So that's why I think it's important to create your own life story. You get an opportunity to reflect on your current life story, the way it is now, your status in life now, but what you're saying about yourself to others, that really matters. It's powerful. Write it down. Get a better picture of what's happening and what's happening now. And you to me, it's critical. It's important to have that life story. Understanding your existence, the narrative, is crucial because it forms the foundation in what you believe and who you really are. It includes both your empowering and disempowering beliefs and aspects in life. So why not shape it? And here's something that's powerful too. When we talk about writing our life story, we're talking about building the foundation of our future. I bet you really wouldn't think about that, right? Because when you say, let me write my life story, you're looking back, right? That's powerful. You're looking back to go forward. And when you do this right, looking back and gathering all that information, and if you do it right and do it correct, you can springboard your future. That's right. It'll help you write down stuff and clarify things. I think it's critical for you to write your life story. Write down, here are things that you can do. I'll give you an idea. So if you want to rewrite your story or you want to write down your life story, start with what I just mentioned a few minutes ago, and then write down significant events, experiences, beliefs that help shape who you are right now and help shape your life. Be honest and include both positive and negative. Anything in your life, all those aspects. This reflection helps you become more aware of what you might need to change. I think it's a great way to start. So why is that important right now, all of these things? So not only will it help you find out what you need, the elements of your life, your life story, there might be things in your life story or things in your past that might be holding you back, created self-doubt, fear, or even limiting beliefs. By identifying what might be holding you back now, that's why I said it can help springboard you into your future in a more clearer fashion. You can consciously choose to let go or reinterpret those items that might be holding you back. Self-limiting beliefs, get rid of them. They don't serve you. So this is one of the reasons why I think it's so critical and so important to write in your life story. Again, it requires you to write down on a piece of paper or however you do it. You're typing this stuff up, and it's going to take a little time. It's going to take time because you have to go back. You have to, all your life story is indexed up here. So you have to go through the index. You even have to go through the Rolodex with all the people in your life who help shape who you are, or, the good, the bad, the ugly. You're going to have to go through all those things, right? You're going to have to change the narrative. Rewriting your story allows you to take control of your life as you saw it, as you see it, and in the future, as you want to see it. That is so critical for you to do. Rewriting your story not only allows you to rewrite and see how things were in your life, it also helps you focus on aspects that empower you, inspire you, and foster a positive self-image for your future outlook. If things are great now, they might be able to be a little bit better, don't you think? And if things are not so great, don't you think you owe it to yourself to change those things that are not so great? Bring yourself into a new future. Start rewriting your life story by focusing on your strengths, lessons learned, and moments of resilience. Emphasize the positive outcomes or growth that came from the past challenges. You're not erasing the past, but you're reframing it to highlight the potential and the resilience in your life. And that is part of your life story. So you're not trying to say this didn't happen. You're not erasing anything. You're just shaving off. You're reconciliating with that and saying, okay, I went through this. This served that purpose. What did I learn from that? Now that is what you want to pull out of those bad things. What did I learn from that? Did it make me stronger? And those things in my past that I've gone through, all the hurt, the pain, did anything good come from it? Those are things that you got to think about, because a lot of people tend to, yeah, this bad happened, bad happened, but they never focused on what good came behind it. People always focus on the negative, on the bad. It's time in rewriting your story, in rewriting your life. It's time to say all this bad stuff happened, but I'm going to draw out all the positive that came from it. And if you felt there was nothing positive, did it make you stronger? Did it make you wiser? Did you say to yourself, I'm not going to go through that again because I'm going to do this better? So there is positive that come from that. So that is one of the things in how you start to create your life story. And then there is another way. You want to be able to not just think about this stuff that you've gone through and what shaped your life. You want to have or should I say, get in touch with your emotions. You want to be able to visualize, and I think visualization is a powerful tool. And a lot of people may not even use it, but there is millions who do. Like everyone who does anything great in their life, they have a lot of visualization. Visualization is a powerful tool to manifestation. And you want to be able to manifest things in your life, right? By creating a clear picture or knowing exactly what you want and visualizing it. So that is part of writing your life story. You got to be able to see and set the stage for how you want your life to play out from here on to the future. So your visualization has to be part of this. So close your eyes, and if you don't know how to visualize, and everybody I believe does this, close your eyes and visualize the life you want to live. Imagine yourself in a situation where you are thriving, happy, and fulfilled. Write this down. Hey, I do it all the time. I do it all the time. My life has changed drastically since my wife passed. I still go through the challenges, but guess what? I'm able to deal with the challenges a whole lot better. And I don't go through so many challenges, but I go through a ton of challenges. And I'm able to deal with those challenges and not be so reactive toward them. So I think that's critical, because this helps you grow. This helps you see things in a different perspective, and sort of like I'm wearing a glass, but it's sort of like changing the lens on how you see things, right? So I think you close your eyes, visualize how you want your life to be, and then write that stuff down. Even if you have to get yourself a vision board and you have to be able to see it every day, because a lot of people do it. And I used to do a vision board, but I haven't done one in a long time. In fact, I just might do it again. So those are some things that you can do to help rewrite your story. And you want to sort of like create a personal manifesto. Who you are, who you are, and what you represent in your life, right? So if you write your own story, you're writing a new life narrative, how you want to see your life, how you vision your life to be. So you're changing the narrative, and especially if you have a life story now that depicts a lot of negativity. You have the powerful vision of change. You can change the narrative right now. You can start today. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. You could do little things today to start to change the narrative in your story's life, or your life stories. So, what are you going to do today? Are you going to take the plunge into changing your life story? Write a short and powerful statement that encapsulates your new life story, your values, your beliefs, everything that you hold dear in your life. Write a synopsis. Include your affirmations, your reflections, the person you want to be, and the person that you want others to see you as. I want you to create that. Write a synopsis of what you want and how you want your life to look. So I want you to create that. And the reason why I say it's so powerful to do this is because you're just going to write a quick synopsis of how you want your life to look, right? And then you're going to start writing your life story. You're going to solidify that new story, that synopsis. You must act in ways that align with it. Action turns to more action. You're going to rewrite the narrative of your reality. If you don't like the way things are right now, guess what? Become the author of your life. Change the narrative. Rewrite your life story starting today. I'm telling you, it's worth its weight in gold. Identify specific steps that will allow you to take to live out your new existence, your new way of living. This can include changing habits, pursuing new goals, surrounding yourself with supportive people. Make a plan and start taking consistent action and reflect on your new narrative. It is so powerful to do. So, why do we want to change the narrative? And that's simple. If you don't like what your story is saying to you, and for some people, their story is negative. Their story is negative, and I'm being transparent. The reason why I talk about this is because I had to start changing my own life story because my past was negative. There was a lot of good, a lot of joy in my life, of course. But there are also some limiting beliefs in my life that I had to say, okay, I'm not going to look at this any further. I'm going to understand this is what I believed at that point in time, but it's preventing me from moving forward. It's preventing me from getting to the next level in my life where I want to be. So I had to make changes. Heck, this podcast is one of those changes because I wanted to find a way to change my entire life, my entire existence. Yeah, sometimes it does take something tragic to happen for us to say, you know what, things has got to change. Yes, sometimes we have to lose a loved one just to open our eyes to life. Because I believe sometimes we get so caught up in our everyday routines that some of us forget about really living life. You have a lot of people go on vacations, go back to work, but I'm talking about really live life. You know, most of my life is about working, helping the family. That's most of my life. It's only me now. There's no reason why I cannot enjoy life to the fullest. But you see, we have to break those bad habits that we probably have. You know, coming home and sitting down and watching TV or whatever the case. We have to break those habits. I'm an avid reader. So I believe in reading as much as I can, learning as much as I can. But just reading doesn't work. We have to apply what we've learned. We have to apply those new tips and ideas in our lives and incorporate those tips and ideas in a way that will help us change the way we want to see our life. And writing our story gives us the opportunity to say, hey, you know what? The narrative in my life is not the way I really imagined it. Well, how do you imagine it? Let's change it today. Let's change it together. You can start by just listening to these ideas, doing a couple of these ideas and taking it to heart. You know, life is dynamic, and in your story, you should evolve with it. It's not something that's static. You have an opportunity to constantly evolve and constantly change. So, why not change the narrative in your own life? Rewind how things have been going for you. Rewind, look at all of those, and then put it to bed. Take your future out, rearrange it, shed some things, your limiting beliefs, your bad habits, and so on and so forth. I had a podcast where how we had to change our habits, and sometimes I was a smoker, so I know that in order for me, I had triggers as a smoker. So we have to look at those triggers, and basically I talked about the triggers and changing habits. So in the same thing in your narrative, there are things that you have to change. So if you want to change a bad habit, you have to put a good one in its place. That's basically what I'm saying. So as a smoker, I said, okay, I wanted a cigarette every time that I had a meal, when I first got up in the morning after I brushed my teeth, and then before I go to bed. Every time I got in the car, I had to have a cigarette. So what I started doing was putting things in its place. I started first, instead of getting up to have that first cigarette, I started, brushing my teeth, and instead of having a cigarette, I would go eat something, a small snack, maybe a banana, and drink a chocolate milk. I put that in its place. Then while I'm driving, instead of smoking a cigarette, I'm eating sunflower seeds. Now, granted, it wasn't ideal, the sodium build up. So, you trade one bad habit for another. But I was eventually able to drop cigarettes inside of maybe 9 months. So I started smoking a cigarette if I get up at 8, instead of smoking a cigarette at 8, I would basically smoke the cigarette around 11 or 12. And then before you know it, I was able to go until 4 or 5. Then before you know, I didn't need a cigarette. The same thing with your habits. Whatever bad habits, whatever limiting beliefs, you're going to have to put something in its place. That means you're going to have to foster new strands of beliefs and habits to help you move forward, and make sure they're good. Make sure they're positive. Make sure they're life affirming. You'll want to make sure that you're moving in the direction where you want to move. Make sure it aligns with your values, your mission in life. These are the things that you want to make sure of. Set a time, right, periodically, to reflect on your life story. Consider the new experiences or insights. Adjust your narrative as needed, because like I said, it's not static. It's fluid. It changes. As you evolve, it changes. And as you get older, of course, your values and your mission in life also changes. Your views and opinions, they also change. These things are not static, they're fluid. So, share your life story once you make it, right? You want to be able to share that with your family, your friends, and I think it's an awesome idea to do so. So, it's not an awesome idea that much, right? Unless you make it awesome. Because I want you to think about this. How unique are you? I'll say that again. How unique are you? How amazing are you? Your life story should be as unique as you and amazing as you are. Share your new life story with trusted family and friends, or even journal it on a blog by sharing your ability to say, hey, look, this is my new identity, a sense of accountability that you've done it. You continue to focus on your new life story, your new narrative in life. I want you to also remember this. Keep an open mind and be willing to rewrite parts of your story as you grow and change. Embrace your new experiences, your new lessons in life as opportunities arise. Enrich your narrative. This approach not only helps you heal from your past, also empowers you to create a future aligned with your true values, potential, and your desires. Hey, listen, my name is Dave. You're listening to the last podcast. I hope that I was able to share some ideas that will help you think about how to change your own life story, or how to write your own life story, and how to change the narrative of your life. So do me a favor, like this podcast, subscribe to this podcast, and share it with your family, friends, and share this message with who you believe might be able to benefit from it. Again, I'll see you on Friday, and don't forget, it's Poetry Friday. I have a brand new poem. It's all ready to go. So thank you so much for listening. Be blessed. Have a great day. Bye-bye.